Welcome to this gamblingsites.org how-to video. Today we'll be providing you with our intermediate blackjack guide with some tips for players with some blackjack playing experience. Once you're past the beginner's level, it's time to begin to consider the complexities of the game. This includes knowing what the correct playing decisions are, how the odds and probabilities work, and whether or not you want to learn how to count cards. Most casinos sell small cards with the mathematically correct blackjack decisions on them, but rule variations can impact the strategies in certain situations. You can find a handy digital chart on our website, gamblingsites.org. That said, a lot of the guidelines for basic strategy are pretty much common sense. You don't have to have a math degree to know that you should always stand when you have 20. On the other end, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that you should always hit on 9. The reason that you can determine the correct decision in every single situation is because you can calculate the odds in all of those situations. A deck of cards has 52 cards in it. There's never a deck with 5 aces or 3 kings, so the ratios and probabilities are known quantities. Gambling games are always about odds and probability, and all casino games have a built-in house edge. For most, it hovers around 5%, but blackjack's long-term house edge is generally between half of 1% and 1%, making it one of the best games in the casino for the smart player. One of the most interesting aspects of probability in blackjack is that the game has a memory, and what happens on the previous hand affects future hands. For example, if you're playing single deck blackjack and all 4 aces come out on one hand, and they don't shuffle the deck before dealing the next hand, you know it's impossible to get a natural blackjack since all of the aces have already been dealt out of the deck already. One strategy that most beginner players don't use, but intermediate players should consider, is the surrender. When you surrender, you give up half of your wager and forfeit your hand. In some cases, it might make sense to surrender your hand and agree to lose half of your wager, rather than risk losing your entire bet. We have a video and an article that goes into surrendering in more detail. Counting cards is easier than most people think. This does not mean memorizing an entire deck of cards. It means tracking the ratio of high cards to low cards that are left in the deck or shoe. A deck with a proportionally higher number of high cards in it favors the player, because it means that a blackjack is more likely to occur. You then raise or lower your wagers depending on how favorable or unfavorable that ratio is. We have plenty of additional videos and articles for you to make sure that you are the best blackjack player that you can be, including more within the intermediate blackjack section. So make sure to check out gamblingsites.org for even more on the game. And if you're among the most advanced blackjack players, you can also progress to our advanced blackjack section to try and squeeze every 1/10 of a percentage point of advantage out of the casino.